My name is Tori. I chose to talk about emotional disturbances or behavioral disorders. So, this refers to significant problems in the social emotional area to a degree that negatively affects the child's learning. I work at a daycare, and I really feel like a lot of our children are affected by emotional disturbances. Behavior disorder is a common term used to describe social or emotional challenges, so I'll probably end up using that term more. But children who do struggle with this disorder, they may experience like getting distracted very easily, or being very impulsive, or having very defiant behavior and not wanting to listen. They may be very anxious or depressed, or have a very difficult time maintaining close relationships. Like I had mentioned before, I really do feel like we have a lot of children at my daycare that struggle with behavioral disorders, and I feel like they just really need like that little bit extra attention. And luckily, we do have a resource room that provides that for those kids. Our teacher, she's only allowed to have 7 children, and it makes that more one-on-one environment where the children who do get overstimulated or have a more difficult time handling their emotions, they're able to get their needs met, and it's not so distracting. Basically, it's not distracting for the gen ed class, it's not distracting for the other teacher, it's not distracting for their classmates in the resource room, because everyone's going through that same stuff. They understand it. I feel like on that different level. It's very common for children with behavioral disorders to argue and throw tantrums, and our teacher, she's really good at getting down on their level and helping them figure out like what their emotions are that's making them feel that way, or like refuse to do something, like what is making you not want to do that, like she's really good about helping them work through it. I feel like behavior disorders are very prevalent in young children and adolescents. I feel like they're more common in those age groups because young children don't know how to handle their emotions. Like, they don't know what is going on inside of them at all. Studies did show that the prevalence of behavior disorders did vary across cultures, but that being said, the disorders are often a result of the same thing. So, like biological, genetic, environmental, psychological, and social factors, they all play a role, I feel like, in the making of a behavioral disorder. It's common for behavior disorders to get overlooked. I feel like that is an issue because parents do not want to admit that their child is struggling or has a disability, so they won't say anything. And then professionals, they become hesitant because they don't want to overstep or stigmatize anybody, and then so it just becomes very difficult to get an accurate representation of how many children really do struggle with this disorder, because not enough people are really speaking up about it. Not everyone that needs to is. That being said, though, a child can be diagnosed after showing an ongoing pattern of symptoms. So if a child is showing symptoms for long enough, something can happen, to where they can go and get what they need to get done and get tested, or whatever it is, whatever the next step that they are needing to go do is. It is really difficult, though, for a child under 5 to get diagnosed. Although they may show signs or symptoms, it's still really hard to actually diagnose them. So I feel like as a professional, it's really important to just know what you need to look for, like the hyperactivity, the defiant behavior, the impulsivity, the inattentiveness, like everything. You just need to pay attention to it and maybe not overlook every tantrum. If it is something that happens often, don't overlook it, basically. Um, like I had said, there is a variety of causes when it comes to behavioral disorders. It can range from biological to social to environmental. Um, and I really feel like family history does play a big role in um, behavioral disorders. So, like, a family member may experience poor ability to like manage their emotions or manage stress in their life, and I do feel like it relates to if younger children in their family do struggle with those disorders as well. Um, it may be very challenging to have a child or a student in your class with a behavioral disorder. It may often feel like as a teacher you are putting all of your attention towards that one child. However, it's still important to keep a balanced head and try to find little things that you can do to help them while helping the whole class. So, like, keep the rules really simple and clear for them. Keep your lessons and your activities really simple and clear. Praise them for good behavior and let them know when they're doing something good. Like, let them know that they're doing a good job. Like, really praise them for it. Another big thing is like allowing brain breaks or like mini breaks, because the child is going to naturally get distracted anyways, so you might as well put that into your daily schedule that you're going to have a little dance break, and you're not feeling overwhelmed by them not paying attention. They're not feeling overwhelmed by having to stay seated or where they're at. Like, it helps for everybody. And after a while, if they are able to get diagnosed, it can move on to the next step or whatever it may be, and they can go into like an LRE, so a least restrictive learning environment, which is really similar to the resource room, which is super positive as well. And I feel like to help diagnose a child, professionals can reach out to like behavioral therapists or learn about the RTI, which is the response to intervention, which really is a great way to approach the early identification of children with learning disabilities, because it really aims to help struggling students in school. I really feel like behavioral disorders, they are more common than one can ever really think. Like, no one really realizes how common it is. And it's really difficult for parents to accept when their child does have a behavioral disorder or a learning disability. But if a child is given the right tools and put in the proper environment, they really will flourish and develop in the way that they need to. So I feel like it's really important for a professional to have that in their mind at all times and just remain positive for everyone as well as themselves. And yeah, thank you.